Now, what I'm going to show you there is where the water's here. Let's go stop to look at this formation, flowstone. You know, the mineral calcium carbonate. That's what this is here you're looking at. It's dissolved mineral. Just rainwater, and that comes through from the surface. When we've had some heavy rain, this area here gets very wet indeed, and it's dripping from those shapes just there.
Oh yeah, because it's through the water.
Yep, that's right. It's the dragon's head, and his nose is running right there. There we are. Now this will alter in time if this water continues to come through, but this is all just dissolved calcite.
Oh.
Beautiful. Same thing as a stalactite, but on a much larger and wider scale. There we are. Right, folks. A bit further. Now we're still in the entrance or the vestibule. The entrance vestibule, not the cavern itself yet. You'll certainly know a difference when we do it. You will feel a big difference. Now, I'm going to show you this wooden box just here. You might like the storyline of this, folks. There would have been several of these, and if you're thinking it's a coffin, no, not quite. It's not an animal trough, it's nothing like that. What it really is was a boat for visitors. An actual boat. Now, this would have been lined with straw. It really is falling to pieces now. We're hopefully not going to lose it altogether. We can keep this, but they sometimes used old mining carts for this too. Now, what used to happen was people were curious to see this underground village, a strange place, a little underground village where all these little scruffy people were making ropes. And it was written about. Writers and poets and journalists would describe the place in, books and things. And it became very well known and much more widely known. And then it was then placed as an attraction along with other attractions in Derbyshire for wealthy and elite, even nobility, royalty, to tour and visit. I don't know if you've heard of Chatsworth House.
No.
You haven't? Ooh, very, very famous place around here. It's in Derbyshire. It's a big stately home. It's one of those big sort of stately palatial homes that's been, passed out, dukes and things like that. That's where the current Duke of Devonshire lives, I think. And you'd visit that. That would be sort of the finale to this tour. Mantor, the Shivering Mountain at the top there, you've seen that, okay? That's also one of the attractions. Paul's Cavern in Buxton was another. So you'd visit these places, but this one, all that muck and squalor, would put off a lot of people. You wouldn't want to pay a fortune to trudge through pig muck and cough in all that smoke. And so you go, oh no, forget it. But now a lot of people, centuries ago, really did believe that a passageway that led underground had to run to hell itself, okay? So this made people too frightened and a little wary to visit a cavern back in those days. So those that did weren't only wealthy, they were the adventurous types as well. And they needed a lot of help getting through the cavern. And a little way down, they had to cross a short pool of water and be pushed under a very low archway. So the only way to get any further in was to use these coffin-like boats, just like this one. So you'll see this area in the little line. Right, a bit further in. Now before we get down into the actual cavern, okay, right, we're still in the entrance at the moment, but if you look at the top wall here, we've got another really lovely pattern here, and it's fossilised coral you're looking at there, folks. The cavern is around 300 million years old, and at the time it was forming, we weren't as we are now, or Britain as an island was nothing like now. No, we're still attached to what I believe is now North America. And we were under a warm sea, a shallow sea, with creatures all just swimming around. And here you're looking at a fossilised coral forest. So I'll explain more about that as we get down. So entrance ends here. Okay. Now we know a different, you're going to feel it. But you've got coats on, so you'll be absolutely fine. Bit of a slope, it's not too bad. But you'll feel the air change and the temperature drop. About now.
See that?
That's right, yeah.
Is there sunshine? There's no sunshine here.
No, it's
That's
just a
amazing.
false light, just the light bulb there.
That's enough already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
We've got more of that.
Okay.
It's weird, yeah. You'd think they need the real UV from the sun to photosynthesize, but no, they're quite happy. They're quite happy. It's fern, moss, anything that likes to grow clean to damp rock.
Oh.
You get spores blown down on like an air current. People, you can feel a slight little, you know, people's shoes when they've been walking, dogs' paws.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll attach wherever there's a light. They've already got the little bit of moisture,
Yeah.
and they're quite happy to grow.
What amazing.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets better than that. Lockdown. The last lockdown, we were shut for 6.5 months.
Yeah.
Right. We only opened up May earlier
Yeah.
this year. Sorry, last year. What am I saying? Last year. And the cavern was closed down completely.
Oh.
Now we thought the lights are out, all the plant life's going to be dead and gone when we come back down.
Oh.
It wasn't. Okay. That was a bit of a mystery, that one. Somebody must have left a couple of lights on and they must have been burning all that time. But you'd think the bulbs would have blown, but no. A little bits of it died off. It sort of shriveled back a bit, but a lot of it was still green, and that was a bit perplexing. I thought, okay, strange. But it did, yeah, we didn't lose it at all. Yeah. And what it's growing in is something known as an avon. Here we are. That's what they're called. The holes in the roof, avens.
Oh.
And these are mini avens within your larger avon. Yeah. And these are all formed by upward spiralling water. The whole cavern was formed by water, nothing but water.
Yeah.
It's all natural. All the creatures that lived in this water at the time, seawater, if they died and just dropped to the bottom, over millions of years, things like skeletal remains and shells, and they would all be crushed together.
Yeah.
This would happen over millions of years. It would all solidify and be squashed, and that's what makes up the limestone. It really is just dead, crushed sea creatures. And some of the fossils you can see in this little corner, just there. You see those? There's
Yes.
my pointer. These are little crinoids. It's not the whole creature, they're small skeletal pieces of the
Yeah.
crinoid stem. Crinoid stems. They're beautiful, riddled with them. These creatures date back 500 million years. Paleozoic creatures. That's all the word Paleozoic means, ancient life. The Carboniferous period was set within the Paleozoic era. And all these little things were bobbing around.
Yeah.
These are tiny, they could be huge. A stem could be as long as 10 feet, but these really are little tiny ones. Closely related to starfish. Starfish. Now, folks, I'm going to point out this little bit of water down here. This may surprise you. It's not a lot to see now. You would hardly know there's water there, but it was water that gouged the whole cavern out, and we still have water passing through us today. Yeah, after heavy rainfall, we flood. This is one of the flooding areas right where you're standing now. So, if there were a bit of flood, you'd see the water come crashing out from underneath this rock right here, and all of this fills up and spills right over. Bear with me a second, folks. Just bear with me a second. Are you okay? Pop on through. Oh, yes, I do.
So it was crawling instead, which wasn't so much fun.
We could do a bit of rain.
I think so, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Right.
The rest of them still down there. Okay.
Not doing a trip around the cave, so
Lovely.
yeah. Well,
Excellent.
The equipment is so
thank you very much.
Oh, sorry?
The equipment is so cool.
It
It has so much
this.
equipment around
This
it.
if you mind if I just put my light
Yes,
on?
go for it, be my guest.
This is cave diving, not just diving, not scuba, but cave diving.
Okay.
These are loose so that they can maneuver them around, you see. If they had a tank on the back, they'd be stuck in no time. So, yeah, they could shove them around and maneuver them.
So cool.
But yes, we have a few of these wonderful chaps that pop in and say it's a good diving cavern,
Oh, it's
isn't
brilliant.
it?
Well, it's absolutely brilliant, yes. Yeah, really good. Lots of good dives in here.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, really good. It's really
Get
good.
me doing it to save my life. Caving, yes, but diving. This is a very claustrophobic. How many are there of you in the country? There aren't many at all.
Probably, I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 200, I should think.
Yeah, yeah. I remember about a decade ago it was about 50, 70, something like that.
Yeah, it went through a lull about that time, yeah, and it sort of seems to have picked up a bit again since. Probably about 100 now, I should think.
Yeah,
So,
not many
yeah.
at all. There you go.
It's very specialised, because obviously you need to be a competent caver and a competent diver, and then a whole lot of new skills to put the two together, so
Definitely
it's quite
true.
demanding.
Yeah. And terrifying also. but it really is something else, isn't it? They treat you like celebrities. But, well, you've got to get in now. Photos taken and things.
Yeah.
Oh, bless.
Carrying the stuff is not so cool. Carrying the stuff is very hot.
Is it hot? Okay.
I'm boiling at the moment, yeah, still. A 7 mil wet, because you obviously have the wetsuit for the dive, you see.
Yeah.
Because the water's pretty cold, so you've got to have the right stuff for that, because when you get out into the air, that wetsuit suddenly becomes a portable sauna. So that's going to be boiling.
Okay. Which is good. Better than being frozen.
Well, it is, absolutely, yes. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to getting outside and getting out of this suit.
Yeah. We'd better let you
No,
go.
you're fine. Thank you very much.
Thank
That's
you
brilliant.
so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your trip.
See ya.
Cheers.
Take
Thank you.
care. We'll
Cheers.
see you soon.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Oh. There's an addition to your tour, folks, not when you get to see that. Now, okay, this little bit of water here, right, it's when the water's receding back beneath this rock, okay? It makes a very vulgar noise, like very loud flatulence.
Okay.
There's a siphon down there that sucks this remaining water along with bubbles and pockets of air, and it can be heard right out into the entrance there. We're going to head under here. This is the lowest and most tricky part of the cavern to get through, and we call it Lumbago Walk. So just mind your head as you come through, folks.
Yeah.
Wow. The best part is yet to come.
There is a better part.
Yes.
Should I be happy about that?
Should you what? Sorry.
Should I be happy about that? The better part.
This is the little low areas to get through before.
Okay.
Okay. All will be revealed now. This little pond within the fenced area. This is where the boats were pushed across. So this water used to be deeper. If you remember the diver there saying that our water is quite low at the moment, it's usually a little bit deeper than this. It's usually filling that area in the corner. But centuries back, it was around there.
Okay.
They placed the visitor into the boats, and the rope makers clambered into the water and pushed the boat underneath there.
Ah. That is the function of that boat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's right, just to get visitors through. I mean, rope makers, they didn't care if they got wet, they'd just duck down and wade through. It'd be about waist deep in water.
Yeah.
But a wealthy visitor paying money, of course, they were to be ferried underneath.
Yeah.
Now, big famous visitor in 1842 was Queen Victoria.
Oh.
And she was to walk through. They weren't going to push her through there. So this tunnel here was blasted through using dynamite, just like the lead mines.
Okay.
And it's the only man-made part of the cavern. Of course, it's been used ever since, but I hope you might like what's through the other side. But you have got headroom through the other side. Come on through. Okay. Victoria's tunnel is still very low.
Okay.
There's one small stretch is man-made. Then we're back into the actual cavern.
Okay.
Okay, come on through.
Whoa.
Wow. Here we go, the Great Cave. It's one of the largest chambers in the whole country. 150 feet wide there, 90 long, we're about 400 feet underground. And Peveril Castle is just above us. Come on in. Take as many pictures as you like, though. Do you want a moment or two to, take pics and things?
No, it's fine.
Oh, it's
Yeah?
fine.
You okay?
Yeah.
Well, right behind you, that's where the boats emerge, okay? It's only a very short trip, but it's even lower through the other side. even lower down this side. Remember that water would have been a lot deeper. Now you see the wooden posts just there. Those, no, almost, yeah. There used to be a winch on there, like a line thing that was in the middle. We just got the posts left now.
Yeah.
Sometimes the wooden boats would be stuck because they were so close to the rock, they'd get stuck and they'd scrape.
Yeah.
So they had to be pulled through from this side as well as being pushed through from the other. You see, and then of course they were helped out into here, and they certainly wouldn't have seen any of this. Now, just before we move on that wall there, the cavern is covered in these, but there's some beauties on this back wall. A lot of the visitors would etch their name into the rock, and this one is dated 1798.
1798.
We don't know who E.S. was, but the date can just about be seen there, 1798.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, really?
We've got a few more of those. We don't know who the J belonged to either. They're all over the place, these etchings. They're just losing a few there. Can't even read those anymore,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But that's very clear. Very clear, isn't it? Right, so, tell you a bit about this chamber here. And I've already started to echo. Hey! Oh, when we bring children in, they shout echo in here. Echo! So all of this mud and rock on both sides forming the banks is quite loose, really. And it was swooshed over, forming the banks by all the water. And you consider this was just swirling water that formed this beautiful, huge chamber here.
Yeah.
You're left with a neat pathway just down the middle. When we get a big flood, good size, decent flood, we still get a bit of a river that comes down this central pathway just here. And this time, going back to our tour of old, there's a path that begins right there. It's more or less easy to walk up from here, but it runs along the bank there. Now it runs around there, over to about here. You can start making it as a wooden plank in the bank there.
Yes.
Then a scramble back there, and at the top you've got a secret tunnel. Another tunnel right up there. You can just see the light glowing from inside of it.
Yes.
There you go. Now, rope makers' children would run up this path and through the tunnel waiting to entertain wealthy visitors. Now, if we're coming a little bit further, okay. Oh, I'm glad you got to chat to the driver, because not many get that. They want to, but they don't get the opportunity. That was smashing. He's a lovely fellow. Now, you see the back wall? There are these dark scuff marks there. Those are scorch marks from thrown gunpowder. Hurl gunpowder. Set off a blast at the wall. And this was done to illuminate the chamber and set up a little bit of a firework display, if you like, for people like Queen Victoria. The real elite would get this treatment, okay? Scorch marks. The deafening sound and the smoke, not very nice at all. Now, it's better if you face inward, folks. The light down in Victoria's, that will remain on. So to get a better idea of the cavern in the darkness, it's better to face inward. Okay? Feels very different. Yes. All depends on how the it's my tummy not in there, that's what I can learn. Depends on how heavy the water levels are. But dripping water down a cavern creates a bit of a phenomenon known as cave voices. This is true. Sometimes it sounds like there's someone muttering in a very low voice close to you, either behind or in front of you. It can be very eerie. Very eerie indeed. It's not doing it today. I think that might be for the better. Okay, I'll put you back in the line. And there we are. We'll carry on. Okay, come on through, folks. Yes, of course.
It's not simple to there's like a huge firework here, because I'm not sure if the structure is strong enough. If you want someone to bump here, is that strong enough? It's safe.
The what, sorry?
I mean, is that safe enough to do the like a firework as I see here? Because the structure of curve is that strong enough to hold the structure if there's firework.
Oh, I see what you mean, yes. No, we've often been asked that. And you would think it would crack or move something, but we've got even better than that. 2 miles away, there is a quarry, a limestone quarry, and they use it for cement and building and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're coming from the Sheffield end at all. From the Sheffield end, I don't know if you're coming from that end. You'll have seen the big tall chimney. I don't know if you've come down from Winnett's Pass end, Manchester end.
I couldn't remember.
No, okay. Well, that, if you see it, of course, that's the quarry. Now, once on a working weekday, and they have done this for years and years, they blast. They will blast. And down here, where we are now, and even further in, you can feel a little bit of a vibration, and a boom, like a little rumble, boom. And it's frightened a lot of visitors. What's that? They think the cavern's going to collapse in. And no, they are getting a little nearer now. And we don't know what's going to happen then, but no, this was just a bit of a primitive firework. It would have just hit the rock, made a bit of a bang, and filled it with smoke there.
Okay.
It's weird, we're pretty solid. In fact, we're very solid, but yes, you would think it would start to mess about or crack the rock or move something, but no, we're good and sturdy. The worst we get now is some of the smaller boulders, like this size, are washed through with flood water, and that's it. Now this is a Saturday, so the quarry isn't going to blast, you're all right. Hey! Okay, that's good. Another tunnel. Now heading beneath Cavedale now. Right, now on this wall here, we've got some more of those dated signatures. Here we are. These are a little bit preserved, they're sort of underneath, how to get out of them. We've got a lot of them there, but again, those are dated that very same 1798. There must have been quite a talking down that year.
Yeah.
But they're all over. There's a very perfect Davis there. Chatfield there. You can always tell by the italics whether it's the genuine ones well, children today with a key just etching I was ear into the rock.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Beautiful. Those are more of those dated ones, folks. Right. Okay, we have a waterfall here to show you. Very light at the moment, very light indeed. But it's still beautiful. We call it Roger Raines. It's flowing from Cavern. Right from all the way up there. Gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really lovely. That's about 400 underground here. On the surface, that's a water source known as Lady Spring. Lady Spring. It's a natural spring. So it's running away. It's found a route through the rock and is landing right here. If it were very heavy, we would not be standing here. We would be drenched. We would be soaked through. It is quite likely. All we need is some good rainfall, and this waterfall will be a lot heavier. Never dries out entirely. Right, okay. Pop up that there. And round at the top there. If you remember the secret tunnel at the very top, this is where it pops through onto this side. So this is what would happen, folks. Later on, the choir went up there, la 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 la, singing to wealthy visitors. They got a bit of entertainment. But earlier on, ropemakers' children around there. They got a terrifying experience. So the children would stand on that ledge. They'd wait for a talk, that talk is just going a bit in there. Once they saw a talk coming through, they would begin to sing. But they made such a dreadful screeching sound, they were very out of tune. And they startled and frightened any of the visitors. And if anyone would look into the gallery to see the children, they'd see them standing with candles, and you get the little glowing face there. A bit like that. One of these, only a lot different than that, of course. So they just see these little slightly illuminated, hovering little kiddies' pale faces high in the gallery.
Yeah.
And thought they'd really met with something sinister down in hell itself. But yes, quite a spectacle in the day. Something that writers would document and write about as well. So we've got a little bit of evidence of that.
Yeah.
There we are, the orchestral gallery.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you remember I talked about floodwater washing rocks through, this one is very recent. Now we're going to find a better place for it. This is how they look on the outside. This one's split, and you can see some of the natural